Hello and welcome to another segment of Ask Elle, where I feature your nurse and healthcare consulting questions to really help you navigate the business of consulting. This week I'm going to feature a question from one of the members of our Nurse Consultant Mastermind community on Facebook, which is a free community and I absolutely invite you to join. And Roxanne is an aspiring nurse consultant, and she writes, how do I learn about networking opportunities and making connections as a nurse consultant? So thank you so much for that question, Roxanne. Establishing relationships and networking, strategic networking is so important because the foundation of our business is built off of relationships. I always say that people don't invest, especially stakeholders, if they don't know, like, and trust you. And so if you haven't established those essential elements, then people typically are not going to invest in your consulting solutions. So even before you launch your consulting firm, you can start networking right now. A lot of times we want everything to be pretty packaged and in a bow before we move forward with business. But in this scenario, when you even have the idea or the thought in your mind that you would want to pursue either independent consulting or working for an employer as a consultant, you need to start forming relationships at that time. And so one of the very first places you can start forming relationships that a lot of people fail to really do is at your place of work. If you're working somewhere right now, you have an entire executive leadership team that you have access to. And the idea behind that is not to pitch your consulting solutions or your idea to go into consulting to those executive leaders. But one of the first things you want to remember is you're going to be having a lot of conversations with very decision makers in very high positions. And so you need to feel comfortable having conversations with those type of leaders who have so much power in the healthcare industry. That way, when you have conversations with other executive leaders, you feel comfortable starting those conversations and asking questions, and you don't feel, you can build your confidence pretty much. And so that's something that I really would encourage any consultant to do who's aspiring. Definitely reach out to leaders. And the thing about it is, if you're working somewhere right now, you have access to all of their contact information. So if you want to email the CEO of your hospital, you have access to do that. It's about you just stepping out, taking a chance, and asking them for a coffee date or a lunch date, and seeking out some guidance. A lot of times, CEOs and CNOs and chief of, whatever that specialty that you're most interested in, they don't get a lot of employees who reach out to them and tell them, you know what, you're doing a really good job, or happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas. Would you like to, for me to take you out to coffee just for, a session for me to get to know you better? They really don't get those invitations. So they would be wild that you would do that. And so that's a really good way for you to build your confidence level so you can start having conversations later with executive leaders and feel, again, totally confident with carrying on a conversation. And number two, another really good reason why you would want to start establishing relationships with executive leaders, even at your place of work right now, is for the simple fact that you never know who they are connected to. Remember, there's always someone who's connected to your ideal client. So even if you haven't launched yet, establishing that relationship with that executive leader can open you up to an immense amount of opportunities. So definitely take advantage of that. And as far as other networking engagements, if you know the type of clientele that you want to target as a consultant, you really need to start doing research on where your ideal client is. Wherever they are online, wherever they are in person, that's where you need to be. So if your ideal client is a part of an association and that association is having a conference, why wouldn't you be a part of that conference? Whether you're speaking, hosting a breakout session, whether you have an exhibitor booth there, you need to be a part of those engagements. That's called networking, and that's called strategic networking. When you know who your ideal client is, you know their every move, and you place yourself there. So that's really how you get started with making connections and really doing some strategic networking. So Roxanne, I hope that answers your question. If any of you have questions that you would like me to feature here on the show, you can absolutely submit them in the comments below if you're watching via YouTube, or if you are a member inside of our Nurse Consultant Mastermind community on Facebook, you can submit your question there also. Just be sure to put hashtag #AskElle in front of your question, and I will be sure to feature you on the show. You all have a very prosperous day. Take care. Did you find that video informative? Well, I've created some amazing resources for healthcare professionals just like you who know your worth and you're ready to be compensated for your expertise. So head over to thenurseconsultantnetwork.com and learn about the many resources to start your consulting practice inside of the Healthcare Consultant Academy. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.